Now, government wants to step on the gas when it comes to dealing with objections to offshore exploration. It says processes to deal with environmental objections to searches for oil and gas must be sped up. Various agencies were speaking at Africa Oil Week in Cape Town. Now, environmentalists have opposed offshore exploration by major companies like Total Energies and Shell. But let's find out more now from Mr. Makhosonke Buthelezi from the Department of Mineral Resources. A very good morning to you, sir. Talk to us about how government is actually dealing with these objections. Every time we have any sort of meeting as far as the energy providers are concerned, the Totals of this world, the Shells of this world, whether this be in Durban or Cape Town or anywhere else, invariably there will be environmentalists who are out there picketing, saying no to fossil fuels. Are you as government turning a blind eye or a blind ear to that?
No, not necessarily, and thanks for the opportunity. No, we are not turning a blind eye or a blind ear to that. That is why we have come up with a strategy to improve our engagement, stakeholder engagement, whether be it a fishing community or even the environmental organization, because the reality of the situation is that we need these energy sources to address our energy challenges. We need oil, because, as you know, we are a net importer of oil in South Africa. And you must have seen for the past 2 months how petrol prices have gone up. And we do have these resources, these new oil and gas recoveries. And we believe that if we open them up for further exploration and as we attract enough investment, in a long term, they will help us not only with ensuring energy of security, but also bringing fuel prices down, and which affect or impact on ordinary people's lives. So we are not turning a blind eye, and we want to make sure that we benefit from all these oil discoveries and gas discoveries, like other countries who are benefiting. And Namibia here next door, they've just discovered oil and gas after us, but they are close to monetizing those resources. And we need to catch up as South Africa. That is why we are saying we need to accelerate investment and we need to fast track exploration of these much needed resources.
So I hear your reasoning is economic concern. It's for, fiscal financial advantages of this exploration. But how does that then balance with the ecological and environmental impact of the fossil drilling and the oil?
Yeah, when these discoveries are made, there is a process, obviously. And there is legislation that guides on what you need to do so that you do it responsibly and you don't affect the environment. And that is why the Department of Environment, Forest and Fisheries is involved. And in fact, that is why even the Minister, Papa Christie, 2 weeks ago, granted a go-ahead for Total Energy to go and drill in the Oteniqua base, because she was satisfied that all the requirements have been met. So it just doesn't happen haphazardly, because we do have legislation that ensures environmental protection and responsible exploration of these natural resources.
Goal 7 of the Sustainable Development Goals is around the provision of affordable and clean energy. Are you ticking that box, or is that an aspect that you don't really want to focus on right now?
No, definitely. We want to, we have to achieve Goal 7 of what you've just mentioned. And that is why we are even encouraging investment in LP gas. 2 weeks ago, we were at the conference where these discussions were taking place on how we can increase investments in LP gas and also ensure that we encourage ordinary people on the street to use LP gas, because for cooking and for space heating, because it is another source of energy that we regard as a clean source of energy. And over and above, if you think of how much electricity costs these days, LP gas is a viable alternative. It's just that people are scared to use of it. When we talk about LP gas, they think of a bomb, and it's because of what has been happening lately, the explosions that have happened we have seen in Boksburg or Germiston. So we are for that. We want to adhere and achieve that ambition to make sure that because we are the signatories to the Paris Agreement. So we have to make sure that we stick to our terms of that agreement, and we make sure that we encourage clean energy as far as we possibly can.
The environmentalists and the NGOs that we find picketing, outside the oil weeks, for example, or wherever the, energy providers are, they would not really agree with that statement. And that's exactly why they say they are against the drilling and the exploration and the burning of fossil fuels. What are the measures that government has put in place in order to have a platform where you are able to hear their concerns and come to some sort of agreements with them as to what the way forward is? Or is this a foregone conclusion from government's side that exploration will go ahead no matter what?
Yeah, we understand their fears, and it's because of the experiences that they've had in other jurisdictions where there's been haphazard drillings, where there's been oil spills. We have seen those in other, like I think in the Gulf of Mexico, and we understand that. Hence, they are always up in arms and discouraging new drilling of oil and gas. But we are saying as South Africa, we need these resources for our developmental needs. And that is why our agency has developed a stakeholder engagement. And it is to open that door to say, let's sit down and talk. We do understand your concerns, and you need to hear us. We also need to hear you, not shutting you out, but we need to work together because we also have a vested interest in ensuring environment that is safe. We also have a vested interest in ensuring that as the oil companies drill and extract this resource, they do so sustainably and they do not affect the environment.
Please correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Buthelezi, but what I'm hearing here is that you're saying you have got economic advantages for the drilling, and you're not going to sidestep those or overlook the economic advantages that can come from this, despite the fact that there are problems and challenges as far as climate preservation is concerned. I mean, do these organizations, these activists and NGOs even stand a chance? What is a halfway point in this type of situation? Because it looks like you are going to go ahead anyway, despite what they say.
We are saying we have to strike a balance. We're saying we have to strike a balance because, yes, there are economic advantages, but they shouldn't happen at an expense of an environment. That is why we are saying we are not going to shut our ears. That is why we are saying we need to listen to each other, because they've got a point in terms of saying and keeping a check and balance on the processes of drilling and all that. And that is why we're saying we have to sit down and hear what their concerns are. And they also have to hear what our concerns are in as far as meeting our economic aspiration as the country through these natural resources that we are endowed with. So we are not saying no, we're going to go ahead no matter what you are saying. So we're saying let's sit around the table and put our discussion on the table.
Mr. Buthelezi,
that's what we are encouraging.
Thank you, sir. Before I let you go, just one quick question. The Petroleum Agency of South Africa has advocated and suggested that special courts be put in place specifically for this. What is your view on that?
Yeah, we encourage that because we believe that when we go to court, you need to have officers who are much familiar with these issues, you know, of energy and so forth. So that is, we support that, and that will help in terms of trying to resolve these issues very quickly, so that they don't get protracted for a long time. That is why we agree with the fact that perhaps we should look at having special courts where you get legal people who are au fait with the issues of oil drilling and production of oil and so forth.
Mr. Makhosonke Buthelezi from the Department of Energy and Mineral Resources, thank you so much for your time this morning. Clearing the air there as far as fossil fuels are concerned and environmentalists are concerned. And you heard him there, Gareth, saying it's not a fait accompli as far as government is concerned. They say they are willing to hear the environmentalists out and find a compromise situation.
Yeah, it was always going to be an issue between the environment and the blackouts making it worse for our energy needs. Which one comes first? That's the ongoing debate. It's the Green Connection and Natural Justice, by the way, is one of the two big NGOs fighting this at the moment. I'm sure we'll get a response from them, if not today, going into the weekend, I'm sure.